Hey y'all, it's Two Brains, Three Eyes, and I'm back with another video. And today we're going to be breaking down the connection between the Karmelo Anthony case and the Kendrick Johnson case. And it's usually not about the facts of the deaths themselves, it's more about how both cases became major social media debates involving race and competing narratives, right? So both cases, they involved young men whose deaths received national attention, obviously, but both generated intense online discussion, right? And both became intertwined with racial issues and accusations of injustice, right? And in both cases, many people felt, the official explanation was wrong or incomplete in some manner, right? So we got to get to who Kendrick Johnson is. I'm sure some of you already know, but Kendrick Johnson was found dead inside a rolled up gym mat at his high school, and authorities ended up ruling the death as an accident. But his family long argued till this day that he was murdered, which he was, even though it was never closed as a murder case. But based on the evidence that I've gathered, it seems to me that he was murdered, right? And the central controversy is whether investigators got the cause of death right, which obviously they didn't. There is no dispute that Austin died from stabbing during a confrontation at a track meet, so we're not disputing that. The main question was whether the stabbing was self-defense on Karmelo's part. And the jury ultimately rejected the self-defense claim and convicted Anthony of murder, right? So I do see... Oh, just give me 1 second, y'all. And I flat out and say this. If the roles were reversed and had Karmelo been the one that was stabbed and passed away, this would have simply been a case of who did it and why. They probably would have disposed of the body somewhere like they did Kendrick, and we would have been asking FBI or the police department, what happened to my child, or what happened to Karmelo? And that's my honest opinion. Had the shoe been on the other foot, this wouldn't have the same results because we wouldn't even know who the killer was. All right. But to circle back earlier, what I was saying, Karmelo is guilty of murder. And after several hours of deliberation, too, he was tried as an adult and he faces a potential prison sentence ranging from years to life under Texas law. All right. But I believe the case went viral because the victim and defendant were both teenagers, obviously. It happened at a school sporting event. I believe it went viral because the defense, Karmelo, claimed self-defense. And I believe it went viral because the case became heavily racialized on social media, leading to intense debate, misinformation, fundraising campaigns, protests, and all around national media coverage. And we're not going to ignore the fact that America was built on racism, right? And I'll be the first to admit that I will say, hey, not everything is about race. But with this particular case, I can't help but to imagine Karmelo being another Kendrick. So just hear me out. What if he didn't have a knife on him? And if you don't know, there's a long and painful history in the U.S. of Black people dying under fishy, disputed, or controversial circumstances involving white people, involving law enforcement or even institutions. And that history kind of helps to explain why many Black people are skeptical when the authorities quickly declare a case closed. So some of the most historical examples include Emmett Till, who was a 14-year-old boy murdered in Mississippi after being accused of offending a white woman. And then we have Medgar Evers, who was shot outside his home. Then we have James Byrd Jr., who was murdered by white supremacists. And victims of countless lynchings during the Jim Crow era, many of which were never fully investigated. And because of that history, modern cases involving unexplained deaths often receive intense scrutiny, right? Now, for example, you got, Sandra Bland was found dead in Texas jail cell after a traffic stop, and authorities ruled her death a suicide. But many people questioned the investigation and believed important questions remained unanswered. And the case you're probably thinking of involving a sleepover is Tamla Horsford. So she attended an adult sleepover party with mostly white women, right in Georgia, and she was found dead in the backyard the next morning, and authorities ruled her death as an accident caused by a fall from a deck or something like that. But her family and many supporters questioned the investigation and pushed for further review. But the case became widely discussed online because people felt that there were unanswered questions in a way, which there are. And obviously the one that we just got done talking about, Kendrick Johnson, the authorities ruled his death as an accident after he was found inside a rolled gym mat, but he was murdered. And what connects these cases is not that they all have the same facts, is that they exist against a backdrop of historical injustice, right? For many people, the question isn't what happened in this one case. It's also, given America's history, can we trust that every death was fully and fairly investigated? Because with this Karmelo case, at least he still got justice. Had it been flipped and Karmelo was the one stabbed, I don't think he would have gotten justice. It would have just been another cold case and a mysterious accident. So for me, it wasn't about him being found guilty, because I already knew that. I already knew that was coming. It was the fact of white people always getting justice of some sort. All right. So let me know how you feel. With all that being said, drop your comments below, and I'll see you on the next video.